Welcome to the Good Talk, our recap and Q&A show where we go over the exciting game we just played and answer your questions. And this was one hell of a game. This was game 3 of the TTTTT, and it was really, really exciting. We're going to full spoil this here. So if you haven't seen this or the other games from the Titans tournament, you're going to want to check those out first. But of course, this was AdMech against the Custodes, and you know, I think most people would argue the AdMech coming in as the clear favorite, not least of which because they're one of the strongest factions in the game. But a lot of people discount the Custodes as one of the only 8th edition codex in the tournament. And they generally, I think people just did not see this coming. But of course, the Custodes eked it out in the end, coming down right to the bottom of 5th turn, a couple key clutch rolls with the Captain General himself, Trajan Valoris, you know, pulling it out for the Custodes, eking them forward. Obviously, it was a big point swing in the end there, about an 8-point swing. So still actually exceptionally close, right? One save here or there, and the game completely swings. And one save here or there, several turns in the game, right? Very, very close. But what we clearly learned is the Custodes are no joke. They were ridiculously lethal. You had a turn 2 where you killed a little over 600 points in your shooting phase alone of my army. And that was through my buffs.
With a combat army.
Right, with a melee army. And it's worth noting you failed all your charges in that turn, or all the relevant charges. You probably had the potential not only to take a major board position, but to kill another 200 plus points on my army. So it could have been lights out right there. The AdMech were taking big bites out of your army, right? You were durable, but I was killing you faster than most factions do. I think you'd agree.
Oh, by a mile.
Right.
Nobody kills me that fast.
And, but I will say what didn't hold up was my army's durability. My army's supposed to be famously durable, and actually it melted in several key places. It just did not hold up. The AdMech also a very complicated army. This is my first game with this particular list, and it's really my first game running them in a competitive fashion. And the layered buffs, I think I got many of the layered buffs right. I don't think I timed my Doctrinas perfectly. And I certainly did not use my veteran warlord trait, which gives me discounts on stratagems. I only used one of those stratagems, so I really didn't have a huge advantage there on points.
Was I muted, Zach?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little muted?
Okay. Well, it's okay. We fixed it.
That's why people were adding me. I can just see the @ and my name. I couldn't see anything else.
Well, glad we can hear you now.
What's up, chat?
So I think that that's the part that just really, really did not hold up, you know, was that durability. And I was expecting my units to stick around longer. And not only did that cost me holding in a few key places, but it lost me my to the last points, which any of those things could have been enough to win me the game.
Yeah, killing the 2 20-mans, it's like
And you killed
rare.
them with ease, with scraps, right?
Well, we're Custodes. Bro.
Like
We
it
don't have
wasn't
scraps.
it wasn't
The
even your
sisters are
main
the
line.
scraps.
Yeah.
Your 5-ups are very unlucky most of the game.
That's true. I didn't make the invulns. But it was tough. But there was a huge swing moment at the end where it was coming down to just a few attacks. There was a couple mistakes that we had to go back and change.
Yeah.
Glad we actually, thank you chat for catching them. We did go back and change them. There was one where the Telemon died, exploded, and then it turned out he didn't die. So we went back and did it again. He survived. And then in my combat phase,
Then died.
he then did die, did not explode the second time, which was actually big because that gave Trajan back 2 wounds. And then we went into combat and we fought. And if Trajan died, I won the game.
Yeah.
If he lived, you won the game. We fought, we made a mistake where we mistakenly, the only model in my whole army that's not Skitarii is my Mechanicus, right? We were treating him as though he had the Doctrina, but he does not actually. And so he was not getting the +1 to hit. We rolled it all out with him with the +1 to hit. Trajan died. Unbelievably, you had 2 dice. You had to roll any one of them at 3 up.
Yeah.
You failed. And we're like, that's it, you lose. And then we're like, oh no, actually, the Mechanicus did not have a 2-up. And I rolled only 2-ups basically to hit.
Yeah.
And so it was a perfect storm of coincidences and like little fine things. But we went back and fixed it. What a crazy close photo finish.
Everyone's brackets are destroyed.
Good. Anybody who didn't believe in Custodes, come on, guys.
This is what happens.
Come on.
The truth, we all believed in Custodes. That's why we put them in the tournament.
Yeah.
But
Right?
did you have them in your bracket?
I didn't have a bracket, to be honest. I will say that I was,
If you had a bracket, would you pick them to win this?
not if I was a betting man,
Okay.
but I would have picked them, like if money was on it, I would not have done it.
Right.
Well,
But I would cheer for them,
you
honestly.
would want them to win.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I said that in true because I think people, like this win wasn't a fluke.
Right.
This wasn't like, oh, they got lucky. This is a powerful army that you played well, and they can do this.
Yeah.
And in fact, this isn't their best matchup. They could do it even worse to Drukhari, who, by the way, is their next matchup. Right?
Coming for you, John.
So this army all of a sudden has a decent shot at
Coming
making
for
it to the finals. We don't know what the finals will look like, but
Could
this
have
army has
Custodes
a
in it.
real shot.
Could be
This was
golden finals.
this was one of its biggest barriers, and it crossed
Yeah.
it.
I mean, so going back to the brackets, the funny thing is, this army is like not easy to play. Like if anybody else were
The
piloting
Admech,
this
is that what
army,
you're saying, or the
but
Custodes?
neither of the armies were easy to play.
Sure.
Your army's preposterous to play.
Yeah.
I don't even
So
want to think about
it's
it.
too much.
But the Custodes, like if this army, if the Custodes, were in anybody else's hands, I would say like 90-10 Admech.
Because you've played them quite a bit.
So much.
And you've played them into matchups where people think you don't have much of a chance.
Yeah.
And you've surprised a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Because, and other people are taking this army, similar armies, to tournaments,
Mm-hmm.
and they're seeing how strong it is. It's an army to be feared. And I think a lot of people discount it to their own dismay.
Yeah.
Because it often ends up doing just this.
Oh, is John in chat? When I called him out, like this is, are we buffering?
He says he's real scared.
Are we
of the
for real? For
Custodes.
real? What's going on here? Anyway, I called him out like this is WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Coming for you, John.
I'm excited for the next game.
It's a strong army, but it's finesse in a weird way. Like where you choose to spend your CP and how you choose to threat saturate.
But also, it's all about your durability. And if it fails, right? If the durability fails too quickly, you will crumple,
Yeah.
right?
This army can die really fast if
Yeah.
they're given space. What, Zach? Chat? Are we alive? Can you just refresh this page?
It says we have excellent connection.
Yeah, but that doesn't really mean. I mean, that means things when I want it to, and it doesn't mean things when I don't want it to.
I see.
I think we're still live.
We're worried that the stream has some technical issues. But the next game is this coming Saturday, which is me playing the Thousand Suns against
luck.
the Orcs. And a lot of people haven't really been seeing what the Orcs are capable of. The Orcs are a terrifying
scary.
faction. And Adrian's list is very, very, very strong. He has 2 kill rigs in it and 6 rocket truck squig buggies.
Yeah. Only 6. He's going easy on you, Brian.
But he's got a well-balanced list. And the Thousand Suns are very elite in a way that the Orcs aren't. And also, he can just kind of hang back and do these big swings on my army. So, and also my mortal wound output is not very valuable into an army with a lot of cheap wounds. So that's going to be a tough match. And it's also
Uphill
going
battle.
to be a tough match also because Adrian's had the chance to play a half dozen games with the Orcs.
Yeah.
This is my first with the Thousand Suns. So, and they're not an easy army either. Thankfully, I actually think they're easier than Admech.
Yeah.
So there's something there. And much like the Custodes, they have the ability to be really durable and go really hot. So,
Yeah.
we're not counting them out, but I think they have the uphill battle in that next match.
I learned a lot about Admech this game. I had never, to be honest, never played against competitive Admech.
Yeah.
And
Well, you're 100% win rate
I used to think that you could just push your models forward and win the game.
as Admech.
Because that kind of used to be true.
Well,
When Lucius was big,
I tried to do that.
and that was the only reason you lost.
I don't know about the only reason, but I did try to threat saturate you.
Yeah.
Thinking, okay, I'll put the pressure on, I'll take the board. But you cleared me out, turn 2,
Yeah.
and I didn't have a lot on the board. Like I was picking up my final points at the end of the game with very, very little.
Yeah.
Like when I'm hoping my Skitarii Marshal is my heavy hitter, we're down to the bottom of the barrel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What I will say, because Adrian and I talked pretty extensively about this matchup before
Sure.
the game, and like, I had an air of confidence that I should not have had, but like, what the Custodes want is if they get a shoot phase and a fight phase,
Yeah. They
for
want full
3
efficiency.
turns. If they get 3 turns of shoot phase and fight phase, they've won the game. I don't care what they're playing against.
Yeah.
3 full turns of shoot phase, fight phase with this army will kill. It'll table anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, you start up the board, and you put stuff in my half the board all the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. let's
Yeah,
go. Like, let's fight.
When you get full efficiency with the Custodes, they can be very dangerous.
They're monsters.
Did he come in today with an air of confidence?
He did.
He did.
No, I think he knew that this is Admech. You got to be for real. But the whole time going into the game, he's like, I got Custodes. This is going to be a thing. It's fine.
It's stressful every time I play them, though. It's exhausting to play Custodes competitively.
Well, you don't want to let the Golden Boys down, right?
I don't want to let them down, and it's just rolling saves all game.
Yeah.
Their offensive output is a guarantee. You don't care. You just roll the dice. It's like 2 ups, reroll. I don't care. But then the whole game, you're like, please don't die.
Will I survive?
Please don't die.
Yeah.
Please don't die. And that's stressful.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we get into some mail?
Mail time.
So we do have 3 boxes here that have shown up. This is all Titan Watch. This is actually the first of the Titan Watch I've had a chance to open up. So I've been seeing it here. We have a mountain of Titan Watch. Really excited for the video that goes all over.
Does it look good on camera, Brian?
The Titan Watch?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Okay. It's 3 models. It's a Dreadnought, a Primaris Tech Marine, and a boring old Marine.
What is it? Is that what he wrote? Or is that your...
No, that is literally what he wrote.
That's your twist on his message?
No, he wrote that.
He actually wrote super awesome tactical Marine. And Brian was like,
And it's from Godfiend. Okay, so we got a lot of packing peanuts here. I love packing peanuts.
look at that guy.
It's a classic Contemptor with a Carries autocannon. Got the purple arm, loving it. Just such a classic.
They're so cool.
It looks really nice.
Ooh,
I like the red gun.
Primaris Tech Marine.
Okay.
Dude, I love... Can we talk about how much I love Contemptors and how much Zach hates them?
I love Contemptors.
Let's just take a minute here to appreciate that Zach hates Contemptors.
Make sure. And then we have a classic Marine. He's got his little bolt pistol and a power sword.
Let's do this. Right before chat, we were like, oh, we're zoomed in.
They're coming off their base. They came off their bases. They were
They're
in
not
bases.
based.
We're not
No,
zoomed
but
in.
they were on the base just to show, but it's fine.
We're not zoomed in enough. Immediately, we get Dreadnought, of course.
Well,
No,
I
the
said.
Dreadnought's good.
No,
I love the Primaris Tech Marine. I love that model. I think it's great. He's napping.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah.
Well,
he's,
he
like,
can. He has a
reaching out.
servo arm. He's
has
like
a-
the only Space Marine who can get up when he falls.
He has a life alert.
Yeah.
A lot of
does.
us around here are big fans of red and purple together, so this looks great.
Yeah, these look great. All right, pass these back to me. I'll put them in the box so we don't
Let's
lose track.
Let's
of who's
get a
who.
quick view of the Contemptor.
I love classic Contemptors.
He's spinning the other way. We don't see his front, Zach. His front, there we go. Look at those eyes.
Ooh.
He's coming to get you.
This is nice. Good edge highlighting. Good choice of color to edge highlight.
When you
black.
edge highlight black, that's the whole thing is you got to get it. All right, what do you got for us,
All right, this
Bridger?
one's next. Here, I'll hand you the models, and I will read the 2 notes. I believe there's one for each model, but I'm not sure. We're gonna find out.
Ooh, look who this one is.
Oh, we have a notice of transfer, clearance, obsidian. Is that higher than, where does obsidian rank in clearance?
It's very high if you're playing Minecraft. It's like one of the hardest blocks to break.
That's all they do in 40K.
Which is like your thing
They're
these
just playing
days,
Minecraft.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so this is from Lady Inquisitor Redacted of the Ordo Xenos. This is subject additional reinforcements, the recipient Watchmaster Redacted. Inquisition High Command Officio, Santa Clara's Sector, Santa Clara's Primus.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Watchmaster, it has come to my attention that a great muster has begun in your sector. Along with this message, I shall send a thrall of my own and Brother Sergeant, ooh, that's a name, Desirica Alvirus of the Flesh Terror.
He's a Flesh Terror. Yeah, I can see him here. He's got his combat shield, storm shield, and a lightning claw.
Let's put him
The
up.
base
Now,
model is a Calidus.
No.
that
That's a
wasn't
separate
count.
model. You haven't read that part
This
yet.
one has come apart.
So
a
he
little
came
bit,
apart, but he's got a really cool storm shield and lightning claw, and he's got the Flesh Terror shoulder pad.
and we'll fix it up. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll fix it up.
Lord Alvaros, said it differently that time, recently completed his duty in the Death Watch of my sector, but upon learning of your plight, he insisted that his orders be rescinded and transport rerouted. His ferocious nature is only bested by his devotion to the Emperor, and I could provide no greater warrior for your cause. Additionally, the clerk I have entrusted this message to has specialty in information gathering and disruption. Trust you will find use for her talents. Oh, she's a Calidus.
That's a Calidus, yeah.
Very dope.
So we've got a Calidus assassin as like an assistant for our watch captain.
And there's a handwritten note as well. Yes, you can read this. Well, then I will.
Thank you so much.
Hey Titans, for my humble submission, I've sent in a Vanguard veteran to help round out the Proteus kill teams. As one of the few remaining Flesh Terrors players, he made the most sense to send off. I went a little bit rogue after thinking about the intent of the project to send models that will represent ourselves on the tabletop. With Space Marines still being mono-dude, it made sense to send off a Calidus assassin to give some more accurate representation. That's awesome.
This Vanguard veteran is pure metal.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super awesome work on his hair and face.
Yeah,
well.
I agree.
Yeah.
Are Space Marines?
He has a really cool mustache. Did you see his mustache?
I did see the little mustache.
I'm loving this guy's mustache.
Are Space Marines dudes still? I know they were dudes when they were human, but then when they're not still dudes, are they?
They're like trans dude.
They're like they don't have a gender anymore, right? Don't they? Lose
Yeah,
all
if they're
those?
transhuman, then they're trans dude. That's what they're supposed to be.
Okay.
They're beyond dude them.
They're beyond dudedom. Thank you all so much for putting in so much work and growing this fantastic community. Looking forward to eventually meeting all you Titans and chat monsters at future events. And then there's a name that I probably shouldn't say, so I won't say it.
Okay.
Because it's your actual name. But thank you.
Thank you so much. What is so cool. What do you got for us?
I'm going to let
That's
Brian
dope.
open this while I read it.
All right.
Hey Titans, I want to start this by thanking you all for the amazing community and channel you've built. The bat reps and hobby streams have helped me learn more of the game and motivated me to slay the Grey.
Nice.
We're glad.
Yeah, I've managed to push both my generalship and painting skills forward, thanks to what I've learned from you all. I also want to thank you for the amazing community you've fostered. It has truly been inspiring to see how this community has come together, not only for this project, but also for the countless other community-hosted projects. Not only that, but through this community, I've gotten to meet new people and play my first ever in-person games of 40K with people from the server.
Wow, that's great.
Super cool.
Wow, this is like the dream.
Yeah.
What this person's describing is like every reason we started this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes on, thank you for everything you've done for the community and keep being awesome, though I doubt that will be hard. My contribution to Titan Watch is a 5-man Hellblaster squad.
Yeah, I'm seeing, and these are amazing Hellblasters.
They look
Look at
dope.
this guy. Oh my God.
He says,
I know.
I wanted to represent some of my favorite chapters through the squad. It's in coming
I know.
together for this founding, I hope they each serve you well and avoid killing themselves via plasma overcharge.
Well, let's be real.
And this is Digital Designer.
Yo,
Oh,
can I just
digital
say
designer, what's up?
that the choice of a dark blue instead of black like has
Yeah.
me really excited.
No, I love dark blue instead of black as well.
And it
Digital
says-
designer, these are really cool.
Yeah, it says, we'll put them on the turntable here in a second.
I'm just gonna look
PS,
at them.
Oh wow, nice shoulder pads. So beautiful. Look how sharp the shoulder pads are.
yes,
hoarding them.
James from the Frozen Sakuras is not only from my custom chapter, but is also modeled to bear a resemblance to me.
That's so cool.
So can we spot which custom chapter that is?
Yeah.
I can guess.
It's that one. It's that one.
It's this one.
Yeah.
He has what model is that from? He has heads on his backpack. And I actually don't know. It looks like an AOS head, but
What's the chapter
I
called?
recognize it.
What did you say the chapter was called?
Frozen Sakuras.
Ooh. Dude, okay, we gotta just
It
talk
could be one of these two though.
for a second.
No, this must be it. This must be it.
Oh, it's a different guy with 2 heads.
That's the guy he made it in.
This guy has 2 Gene Stealer called heads. And that is the coolest. Dude, look at that conversion.
Yeah. So all of these guys are heavily converted up. There's a Dark Angels guy here with a great hood, a sword. So this guy's the sergeant, I guess, right? Because he's got a sword.
All right, we gotta get these on the camera. I can't
yeah, I'm getting
just
them on.
hoard them forever.
So this one is, these are really cool. So this is him. This is the one that's supposed to be digital designer, is my guess.
Because he has the Sakura on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay, can we just hold up? Heavy Hellblaster, by far coolest gun.
Yeah.
Like,
naturally.
I've never seen a Heavy Hellblaster
Any
before.
large gun that has the tube
The power cords
is
Yeah.
the way to go. That's like what all of 30K is. That's why 30K Devastators look better
And
than.
then he converted the one that
Wideband
represents
is Volkite,
himself.
right?
Digital designer himself converted the heavy bolter like
the
muzzle
front
guard.
piece. Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what that would be called.
Yeah. That's the guard that's on the Inceptors. The Inceptors assault bolters.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's super cool.
It looks dope.
Yeah. Great work. These
The
are a lot
Invictor
of,
has a bigger version.
These are a lot of fun, and as anyone who watches this channel knows, I love Hellblasters, and I am the one who will be the first to put Hellblasters on the table anytime
cool.
for any chapter. Adrian might laugh at me. And
I
then I'll-
don't like Hellblasters.
and then
I will put these guys on
and then
the
I'll
table.
put the Hellblasters in. I love Hellblasters.
And
I love Plasma.
they're great in Deathwatch.
Yeah, you're right.
This looks great, and I will say, Digital Designer also sent in like
Transfer papers for each of
page
them.
after page of
like official documents.
Yeah, like a significant amount here.
Well, that's your homework.
You should show here. Try to put this on the camera. You can see it's like official order documentation. It's got actually like the logo at the top, and it's like redacted in places, and it's using like the monotype government fonts.
Yeah. And it's one for each of them?
Yeah,
Wait,
there's one for each of them.
There's
It's
like 7 pages.
It's like transfer pages for each of them.
That's cool.
It's very impressive. Super cool work.
Yeah.
into it.
Wow, this is great. What an amazing project. And so humbling to just get to be a custodian of this project, you know?
See what you
To
did
get to
there.
bring it here and put it on the table. Wow. I wonder,
Dude, somebody, all right. Now that you mention it, custodian. Somebody said that, like, these are our models now and we can do what we want with them, but they're not. They're your models. We're just the guardians.
yeah.
We're the custodians of your models. We're going to be the caretakers. If you want to come and take them back, don't. But you could, but don't.
Don't. And boy, we can't mail them back because there's a lot. We would be here for weeks.
I don't want to mail them back.
A lot of postage.
We're not mailing them back.
But
Don't.
How many points is this going to be in the first go?
5,000. That's what I was told.
And so the first game is 5,000 points, right?
That would be tough.
Why?
We could try.
Coward. That's coward talk.
What would we play it against with 5,000 points?
We have so many things with 5,000
That will
points.
fit on the table with
Yes.
5,000 points?
Yes.
We definitely have 5,000 points of Tau.
Yeah. Oh, and that will fit on the table.
And that's some Xenos.
And that's some Xenos.
And that is Xenos.
We probably have 5,000 points of Assyriani as well.
Yeah, that's not as fun.
They're not as. Yeah.
It's not as cohesive. It's not like one army as much. The Tau is probably the right enemy because that's a classic like
Death Watch
faction
Tau.
for.
Do you have 5,000 points of Tau?
Definitely.
Of course he does.
I have like 28,000,
okay.
30,000 points of
Okay.
Tau.
I think I do too, but we can.
I probably have 5,000 points of Tau, and they're like in a cardboard box somewhere and have been for years.
Well, we might not use yours.
We might not. We might not use his. Yeah, might not.
I mean, you could though.
we could just get like 3 rattle cans and spray them at the same time, and it'll be a lot better.
That would be a cool effect.
I like how we do that rather than use your 2,800 points or
Yeah.
my probably 10K or Brett's.
20,000?
Yeah, 20,000. Sorry,
Yeah.
20,000.
Well, shall we get into the questions?
Let's do some questions.
If we
first.
don't start answering them, we'll never
Well,
finish.
Can we
we'll
them.
be
do
here.
that though? Can we just get a pottery wheel and just spray paint my old Tau from
No. We have airbrushes. Why would we do that?
No, because it would be cool. You get like a.
Oh, I don't think that would be too cool. All right. Thank you.
I don't think it would be too cool.
Thank you, Edward Burke. Who's the new guy? Tell him I like his sweater. That you
Thank you.
Oh, Brian. I like your sweater too, Brian.
I haven't been able to wear them. They've all been perfectly neatly folded in my drawers, and I was like, now's the time. Like 2 keys, open up, grab the sweaters, put them in my suitcase. I was ready to break them out and put them on.
You couldn't find someone to do the other key with you. You're like, I knew.
I knew this was a bad idea. Yeah,
Well, thank you, Edward, and thank you.
there's just moths that come out and they're all ruined.
It's just a cloud of moss.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Cube Kun. Hey, Titans, does anyone happen to remember the name of the stratagem orcs can give a weird boy before the game to make him stronger?
Warp Ed.
Is that it?
That is it, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes him a
Yeah.
warp head.
Warp Ed.
That was
There you
without
go.
Adrian we did that.
Yeah, I play orcs.
We could have.
I just don't get as many chances because he
could've
plays it.
Thank you, Tom. Hey, Titans, long watcher, first chat.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah, wanted to say congrats on the community you have built. I think it's down to you all being great guys, and I could never pick a fave. JK, of course, it's Bridger.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
I always do refer to you
Bridger-
as fan
Bridger's
favorite
great.
Bridger.
But why though? I like. Maybe it's because I don't want it. Maybe that's why.
That is definitely why.
Okay. All right. I'll tough it out.
Yeah, what a
Bridger's my
what
favorite.
a burden! What a burden to bear. Thank you, Nutmeg. I've been wanting to ask this on the channel for the longest time.
Okay.
But are you able to redeploy on turn 1 with relics, stratagems, psychic, outside deployment? P.S.
Oh.
It's Brian.
It is Brian.
Outside deployment. Okay, this is a nuanced question with a nuanced answer because you're asking like 5 questions at once.
No, they're asking the same thing. So listen, I know what they're saying. I know what they're saying. They used a couple weird words. So let's be careful with the words they're saying. Are you able to redeploy on turn 1? Basically, you're talking about an ability that
Veil.
lets you pick up and put your models back down.
Yeah.
Now, where you might get confused is that you can't deep strike turn 1, and you can't use anything that brings you in from reserve
Yes.
turn 1. And this is like that. It seems like it's like that, so you would think, okay, I'm restricted. But in fact, even in 8th edition and now in 9th edition, they made a very strong separation to say if your models started the game on the board, so start of turn 1, they're on the board,
Yeah.
and then you're using some ability to move them, like the jump or Veil of Time or anything like that, that's entirely allowed, entirely legal. And even, things like Blood Angels used to have the ability to go up and come down with a strat. All of those things were totally legal turn one, and they still are. So yes, any ability you have, Psychic Power, Stratagem, Relic, that gives you the ability to do that, if you start on the board, you could do it. If you are in reserve, no other ability lets you come down turn one. For example, perfect example, is the Sanguinor for Blood Angels. He has a really cool ability where he's in reserve, and he gets to intercept, heroically intervene from space. Well, that is coming in from reserve, and if someone charges you turn one, which actually happened in one of our games, you cannot come down.
The Incarn has something similar as well.
Right.
But there's a secret hidden second question, Brian.
Okay.
I don't know if you picked up on it. There are redeploy stratagems that are used between deployment and turn one. So Ultramarines, famous example, pick 3 units, redeploy them.
Yeah, or certainly even the Admech I played today. My units I can move.
Eldar can do it. A bunch of people can do it. Can you do that and leave your deployment zone? Only if you're allowed to leave your deployment zone when you're deploying. So like Invictors are allowed to forward deploy to start with. So when they redeploy, they're allowed to forward deploy.
To be anywhere that would have been legal. And in fact, in 9th edition, they've been changing it so that you could also go into reserve.
Which is crazy.
And often it's for free. And so not all the 8th edition abilities do that, but almost all the 9th edition.
Do you know a
abilities.
magic cult you're taking this Saturday? You're taking
Where did
Duplicity?
What?
Cult of Duplicity, yeah.
They can do that.
They do the redeploy as well. He's talking about for the Thousand Suns.
Oh, no, I was talking about actual magic cult.
He was talking about the cult.
It's just like, where did they come from?
No, but he's right that the Cult of Duplicity have a redeploy. Lucius for Admech have one of these redeploys.
And Duplicity has a way to start up the board.
Yeah, right. So anyways, yes, all of that turn one. And in fact, if you're playing a competitive game, one of the, there's like a handful of questions you ask before the game. Often you ask your opponent, do you have a way to essentially like teleport? Often is the way I'll say it. Can you teleport turn one? Because then when you deploy your army, you have to screen
For turn one,
right away, because if they go first, you don't have a chance to respond. So something to watch out for.
Thank you, Runny. I'm going to think that's how I pronounce it. How would you pronounce it, Pitcher?
It's Ryu.
Reuni.
All right, thank you, Reuni. Hey, guys, I'd love to see Brian back. What do you think Custodes, this is an awkward question right now.
That is awkward.
What do you think Custodes need to be competitive with factions like Admech and Drukhari?
No, they do need help.
And what should they continue? And what should they continue to be weak at for balance?
I agree. I know what they need. More attacks.
They do need more attacks.
Let's be real. Everyone needs more attacks. Characters, base custodians.
They all need more attacks.
You know what else they need?
More durability.
Not D3 damage.
Oh, yeah.
Everything that's D3 damage needs to be 2 or 3.
Yeah. Axes could be 3. Swords and spears could be 2.
Agreed.
There we go. Okay.
If you did just those 2 things I'm saying, we'd already be in a pretty good spot.
We would start seeing Custodes on the ground, like boots on the ground. Yeah, we would. That would be a start.
That's all you would need to be in a good start.
It's a start.
I'll tell you a few other things they need. I don't love how slow they are. For a combat army, I think they need some access to advance and charge.
Tricks. Right. They should have some access to advance and charge, or like
/ fall back and charge too.
the cool deep strike. Like that's the kind of tricks that they need.
Yeah.
Not just faster, but specific.
Yeah.
I think it would be lame if Custodes just moved 8. Like that would be dumb. But advance and charge would be nice. But situationally, what they should continue to be weak at, and there is one unit that we will ignore, is shooting. They're supposed to be a relatively weak shooting faction.
They're supposed to have few shots, but they're quality shots.
Yes, they're quality at everything they do, but they don't have great guns outside of Forge World.
Is that true? Like they have
In plastic,
they have Dark Age
their
technology.
guns are a joke.
All their Forge World guns are like Dark Age technology weapons that are legit. Like supposed to be the best in the biz.
He's talking thematically.
At some point in time, oh, you're talking just the lore.
Yeah, I'm talking in the game. Like if you look at all the Forge World guns,
They're mostly trash.
but they're supposed to be unbelievable.
Yes, in lore, they're supposed to be like weapons of the Dark Age. Like this is a relic that we bring out like once in 1,000 years for one conflict, and then we put it back in the garage because if you put a dent on that thing, the Emperor's going to hurt you.
Totally.
Right? Like
There's no insurance on it.
you can't make another. There's like 5 of these in the universe.
Yeah.
There's fireworks. Get it out.
Yeah.
Bring the gun out.
They just love bringing it out. They bring it out for anything.
Next week,
But gameplay
Guardians,
wise,
get it out.
the balance of the faction, or the thing they're supposed to be weak at, is shooting. I'm picking up what GW's putting down with all the
I
plastic
want
kits
2 more
having
things. Can
terrible
I keep,
guns.
if we're making a wish list, can I have 2 more things?
Okay.
Thing number 1 is I want them to be more durable somehow. So, for instance, Terminator armor used to mean something like, oh,
It did,
T5, 3 wounds. So I need the durability.
If Custodes Terminators were T6,
Yeah, okay. More toughness, fine.
that'd be kind of cool.
Or just one of these things. More toughness, ignore some rend, or -1 damage. Any of these things.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Any of these things could really go
Forget
a long
the toughness thing. The other two things you said were amazing.
They're much better than the toughness. And so another thing I love their obsecness. I would lean more into that, like counts as 2.
That'd be cool.
I think
We've seen that a lot.
because there's very few models, and everyone
help.
else has so much obsec for so
help.
cheap. I think goes a long way. So, anyways, all the things I just said, I think I'd be super, super into.
God, ignore the first. Oh, ignore AP. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ignore the first AP, something like that. It's all good.
Thanks again, Reuni. Side note, my friend, here's another, boy, these names. My friend,
Samaltes?
Samaltes
yeah.
is now up to 20,000 points of Custodes.
Okay, 12 models.
And keeps seeing my Custodes army bigger than theirs, such as yours, as a challenge. Please tell him to calm down.
Listen, he's only got 12 models. Getting him up to 14, not a big deal. When I built my first month collecting Custodes, I got to 18,000 points.
Yeah.
And it was not very many models. It was,
You bought a bunch of Forge World.
I bought,
Done.
yeah, I started collecting them essentially, I started collecting them before they were released.
Right.
Right? Because you and me, we were talking about how much we loved Custodes.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, it sucks. They have this little Talon box. We were talking about how you could run them in an army.
Yeah.
And you had to take like a Vanguard detachment
Right.
with just some custodians. And I was like, you and me, we were like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're just going to like buy a bunch of Custodes anyways. And then about 3 months later, they're like, announced Custodes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'm buying everything.
Oh, this is right. They were really released for like 30.
30K.
Yeah, they were
No, they were in
30K.
40K as well.
But
like-
Just
but
as
the
like
box,
the box was really a 30K thing.
Yeah.
And then, and so I went and bought,
It was Prospero.
yeah.
Burning a Prospero.
And they had a little
They had a
5-man box.
companion. Yeah, they had a companion
In fact,
box.
I think I gave you guys. I think
Yeah.
you guys got.
Yeah.
Some of you guys got.
That's
those
right.
from me.
Yeah, I probably did. So
Yeah.
so I bought a bunch of those boxes, and then I bought 3 of everything on Forge World, basically.
Yeah.
That I thought was interesting at the time. And I actually didn't mind because this was also my first 30K army. And so I was doing it on for
There's
both.
a double-edged. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was trying to get into both games, so I went really, really hot into it. But since then, actually, we kind of stopped buying when we probably should have got more. We didn't have Venatari for a long time, and
Well, all right. The Venatari came out, and they had a bad data sheet, and they looked ridiculous, and the way that they released them made them look more ridiculous.
yeah.
Like, it was not enticing to buy Venatari when they came out.
You're right.
They were the flying monkeys from the Wizard Boss.
Yeah.
That's
But
not
now,
enticing.
you can be like,
really
they're the
enticing.
flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
While you're stomping on people, you're like, yeah, but, like, I know that I just picked up
Fly, my
a bunch of your
pretties.
shooting, but
Yeah.
look at how stupid they look.
They're not great.
Thank you, Shiv Paul. Hey, Titans. No Craftable Daldar in TTTTT.
That's true.
Craftable Daldar 4. Here's a list, right? Farseer,
Yep.
G and F. Come back to that. What is the
Forsiki.
Farsiki D and E.
Right. Got it.
Lock Sky Warlord.
Okay.
Two groups of Die Avengers. One
Yep. Ranger.
One group of Rangers. 2 Wraith Guard.
Yep.
One group of 5 Shining Spears. Warp Spiders.
Yeah.
Group of
1/5 War Spiders. Yeah.
A group of 7 Dark Reapers.
Yeah.
2 Wraith Seers and 2 Wave Serpents.
Yeah.
It goes on.
Oh, the Farsiki is a Skyrider Farseer, right?
Yep.
Goes on. Struggling with hordes in warm-up games. Help, please.
Yeah. So I'm not pulling punches here. There's no Craftable Daldar in the TTTT because we wouldn't. Yeah. T. Honestly, we could never imagine them winning a single game against any of these armies.
They have one trick, and that's it. They have Dark Reapers that
Get
you
out.
jinx, doom, get out of a
Yeah, but again,
obliterate
that
a thing,
also
get back in the
assumes
transport.
that also assumes that the meta is big blobs and you're killing things of value, which is not 9th edition,
It's
and
not.
it's not really any of these armies, right?
No, it's not good. That's the one trick Craft Worlds can do. When you see them do well at events, or when you see them souped into an Eldar army,
Like imagine that
It's
trying to
just for
shoot
that.
your Custodes. You would turn off the
I would turn off all the
rerolls,
rerolls and they'd cry.
and they would do 1 damage to dreadnoughts. They'd do like 3 damage to a dreadnought,
Yeah.
right?
And that would be it.
It would be horrible.
And I would 4-up Deny Jinx.
The Craftable Daldar.
Which just do nothing.
The Craftable Daldar need a lot of love in order to compete competitively, like seriously. The list you've built is cool. It's got a lot of tools. The problem is it's just got no hammers, like nothing to keep anyone honest.
7 Dark Reapers is like...
It's like, cool. You kill a third of a thing or half a thing a turn.
They really always seem to do less than you think they're going to do.
You have to commit a lot for them to do anything, yes.
Imagine you're playing against Drukhari. What are they going to shoot
Actually,
once?
what's scarier that he has, honestly, is the Shining Spears.
No, Shining Spears are great, but Shining Spears die in combat.
They
It's
die
a
in
combat
combat.
meta.
They'll do more damage than the
Shining
Dark
Spears
Reapers
mattered in 8th edition when you shot people off points.
Yep.
Now
And then
you
they
fight
touch you
people
so you
off
can
points.
shoot.
So that's the issue. I like your list. I think it's cool, and you're going to be able to play a lot of great games. But if you're trying to play like the 8 best armies, like we are here, if you're coming up against them, it's going to be a very unpleasant matchup. It's going to be super tough.
So he says he's struggling with hordes. Let's say he's playing factions that maybe he can have good games against. Maybe Guard, maybe Tyranids, and their hordes. What advice do you give him?
The spinner, their indirect
Night
tank.
Spinner.
Night
No,
spinner.
it's just not enough shots.
It's not very many shots. It's
What-
2d6.
You gonna take like scatter bikes or something?
No, if you're trying to kill hordes, what he doesn't have is big units of
Guardians.
Guardians. Guardians are no joke.
You don't think a scatter bike squad would be better than that?
Yeah, but scatterbikes are really pricey to put into an army.
One kind of
Yeah.
fun thing that would be teching into killing hordes a little bit is scatter bikes or jet bikes that have just the shuriken catapult.
Yeah, that's
No,
No, no.
scatter laser bikes.
counter lasers.
Yeah, but actually,
It's like 6 shots a
you
bike.
save 10
Yeah.
points if you just put the little catapult.
Yeah, it's not very effective, but yeah.
It's
But Zach, it's not strength 6.
Yeah.
no strength 4.
And most of the hordes you're
but
going
red,
for.
yeah, which is usually not good against hordes.
But yeah, so I would do a Guardian Bomb. It's good for holding. It can be durable, which could pick you up some primary points, and it can kill some hordes. So that's where I'd lean into.
Also, more Shining Spears. They kill hordes pretty good too. They get a lot of shots.
They're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're the shuriken bikes you were talking about, but just better.
And they fight too.
And then
yeah.
they do other
Better.
things. And they have a lance, which is
And they're durable.
Thank you, Trey. Eyeing some giant robots, but neither regular nor spiky versions have a codex yet.
That's true.
Okay to play Chaos Knights with Imperial Knight models, vice versa?
Yes, and it depends on what you're talking about.
Your group.
In a
and,
tournament, when the Knights first came out, people like Frontline were actually pretty strict.
Yeah.
That they wouldn't let you play Imperial Knights as Chaos Knights. The Chaos Knights, for example, have the backwards bent knee, like the more demonic
dogleg.
looking dogleg, yeah, and they're spiky. They would let you play the Imperial Knight kit as Chaos only if you painted it Chaosy or converted it
Alpha
up.
Legion or something that doesn't maybe always look so
True,
crazy.
although Alpha Legion doesn't own any Knights, but fair enough.
Oh. Well, or do they?
That was a weird, yeah. But there was also a time where the Chaos Knight kit wasn't out yet. And so everybody was just playing Imperial Knights as Chaos Knights because they were way better.
But that's when they started making fuss
They started to
about
crack
it.
down on it.
Yeah, so it comes down to your local event. I think a Games Workshop event, they probably really would not allow you to do it. Frontline
Maybe
Gaming.
if you converted.
Yeah, no, if you made an effort.
Yeah.
But it's like if you had House Griffin or something,
Right.
and then you're
Counts
like,
as-
today these are
Yeah.
Chaos Knights. People aren't going to dig it.
People won't like
They're
that.
not going to like it.
No counts
I
as, right?
love building Knights, so as soon as they announced Chaos Knights, I just bought 4 kits, and I just made 4 Knights, and I had a great time. They're very expensive these days, though, for sure. So I can understand not doing that. But honestly, I love the Chaos Knight kit. It's beautiful. Such great options. Go for it.
Thank you, Pistol Princess. Hey, Titans, building my 3rd army. Why am I like struggling what BL is?
Light Lords.
Black Legion?
No.
Black Legion would be... Oh, yeah, Abaddon. Looking at Abaddon.
Oh, yeah.
And here we go. DA, DD, Terminator, Sorcerer, Cultist.
Lots of cultists, yeah, which makes
lots of
sense for
cultists,
this
like
army.
A group of 30, 2 groups of 20, 2 groups of 10. 10 Terminator, Combi Bolter,
Power Axe.
Power Axis, 3 groups of 3 Bikers,
Nice.
2 Rhinos, 1,000 Suns Patrol with Ahriman, Terminator, Sorcerer, and 10 Rubrics. Thoughts? It's kind of a cool list.
Whoa.
You know what's kind of fun?
a cool list.
I actually like the idea of Black Legion rubrics, and they can look really beautiful. So you could do, skip Ahriman.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, I always use Turbo Dork on the hobby stream. They just released a black metallic. It looks amazing.
Wow, cool.
It looks like graphite. It's like so cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you
stuff.
should Google around,
Yeah.
look for Thousand Suns, look for rubrics for Black Legion. They look stunning, and it'd keep your Black Legion theme going. And I think that's really fun. So I would definitely lean into that.
But would Ahriman do that?
Would Armand do what?
Put on black armor.
Well, I
can't-
wouldn't.
that's not-
You couldn't have technically him.
Can't do that.
I'm talking about not having the Thousand Suns patrol.
Right.
But
I see.
and then instead of Armon, you bring something else like a Demon Prince or something.
Thousand Suns Patrol's pulling a lot of weight in this army.
No, but if you're making a Black Legion army, it's fun to have a full Black Legion army.
Then you're gonna need some obliterators, my dude.
Yeah, they're good too.
And consider, I don't know if you already built the models, consider the Terminators with Combi Plasma.
And Harkin World Claimer.
All right, Brian, now we're going crazy.
No, he's awful. Don't do it.
Don't do that.
kinda
How
cool
does
spear.
he never come back around? Oh, they never made another Chaos book.
Yeah. They re-released
He's been
the
out for-
old Chaos book 2 additional times with no new rules.
He's been out for like 5 years and he's
Yeah.
still terrible.
Yeah, he's horrible.
Thanks.
Harkin World Claimer.
Thank you, Rumi. She was earlier talking about the brimstone. And,
Yeah, right.
All right, boys, your girl's going with Spirit Hosts with Leafy Ghost Trails for blues
Nice.
and Leaf Elemental brims. Thank you so much.
I think we've talked about this kind of army conversion in the past. It's something that really captures our imagination. It's very, very cool. I think it's a great, great project. Super jealous of this project. I would love to be working on it.
Thank you, Black Catechism. Hey, Titans, the battle reports have had me really inspired to get back into the hobby. I've decided on Custodes.
Yes,
Boy,
you have.
well, going to be extra inspired, which I've been painting in Buzz Lightyear's colors
that's
and
rough.
calling them the Infinite Watch. Should I meme harder?
I don't support this decision.
Victor has a...
If you solid color paint Custodes, you gotta be real careful, or else they look like a 5-year-old painted them with a crayon. Like that's.
Well, maybe
gotta
he
be
is
careful.
maybe he is doing metallics, but just doing like the...
Metallic purple if you leave off the green.
No, I think...
So
No
Buzz
full Buzz
Lightyear,
Lightyear.
hold on. Let me make a proposal.
Okay.
Can I make a proposal?
Yeah.
So the Solar Watch have the ceramic white,
Yeah.
right? It's like a special kind of white. It's like ceramic. It's glossy in a
Mm-hmm.
way. So you do the ceramic white of the Solar Watch.
Okay.
So that's like your Buzz Lightyear white.
He has some white, yeah.
No, isn't that's his
He's
most
like
his whole
mostly
body's
purple
white.
and green.
I thought most of his body was white,
Okay.
and then he has trim of purple and green.
Okay.
It's just they're vibrant colors. So then you take the purple and green, and purple with the Solar Watch, like purple plumes and things
Could
like
be
that.
okay, yeah.
It already can work beautifully.
How
So
are you gonna work lime green into this, Brian?
very, very delicately.
Oh,
You could do it as the glow.
The power
on,
weapons.
The glow on the power
Oh
weapon.
my God,
So you're taking the inspiration exactly from these colors, but you're not like shoulder green, whatever.
Yeah, don't do that.
You do the Solar Watch white, purple plumes and robes and things.
this is like
And then the green power weapon, I think it's actually good.
you've made
It's actually good.
one of the most difficult paint schemes, though.
Yeah, I did it.
It would look great if you did it right, and it would be incredibly hard to do.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
The models are so big, too.
Yeah.
Solar Watch, no, you try to paint Solar Watch, Zach. Even just the base of painting Solar Watch is hard.
I actually agree with that. Any base white is hard, especially like making a nice glossy
And then you're
white.
putting wacky colors on it and trying to make it look
I
good.
actually don't find white hard to paint.
No, an
Well,
experienced
look at you,
hobby
Zach.
titan.
Well, look at you.
An experienced hobby titan does not find white hard.
Well, you
wish-
need an airbrush. You need an airbrush.
Wish I could hobby as well. So.
Right.
You need an airbrush.
No, you know what you can do? If you don't have an airbrush, the Citadel contrast white.
Oh, I'm
With
not
be-
in love with contrast.
No,
for
no, no.
that.
Contrast is not normally great, but the Custodes are all ridges.
So it
And
falls in.
you actually get a really nice effect.
How would that
And
look?
what
When white
I would do
pulls in the what?
No, it works. Hold on. So what you do is you base coat the Custodes in black, and then you directionally coat them again in the Wraithbone, which is like the undercoat for
spray.
for
The
for
rattle
contrast.
can, the rattle can, right?
And then what you do is you end up getting these under shadows that are quite dark, and then when you put in the contrast white, it'll work. It'll work. Anyways, that's the cheap way,
yeah.
easy way to do a white on Custodes.
I can't even picture. The thing you described sounds insane.
You gotta get a little creative.
It's good.
When
The contrast white's no joke. It's good.
There's
People who've
some-
tried it, they know. The contrast white creates these really nice, like light grayish, bluish
It's just
shadows.
like white ink, right? It's essentially white.
No, but it when it pools, it turns gray. So when it's thicker, it's a little gray.
It's like
Yeah.
Okay.
it has to do with like the amount of opacity
Yeah.
that you're looking down through. Thank you, Ambush25. Hey guys, good to see you back, Brian. Thoughts and comments on my Custodes offensive output fix. Ignore damage reduction modifiers
Good. Cool.
to counter the plague of -1 damage abilities.
I think that's a really cool idea. There's also several things, like I was just playing all weekend with my Necrons, and my Necron Overlord Catacomb Command Barge has that ability, 3 damage, ignore all modifiers. And it's a really, really cool thing to just roll up and be able to do that. I think it's
Always
super
does
neat.
3 damage.
Yeah, it's just predictable.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's really sad for Catan, but
It'd be cool as a strat, but like as an army-wide ability, it would be odd. It'd be a strange thing to have
super
army-wide.
situational.
Yeah.
I actually think a strat. I agree with you, a strat.
Like a 1 CP or 2 CP if you have a big squad. Something
Nah,
like
it's
that.
not worth 2 CP.
Well, for like 9 guys or something.
It's not worth it. It's too situational.
You won't do it, but there's a lot of strats that are 1 or 2 and you only ever pay 1.
Yeah. I think Custodes strats should be naturally cheap.
I mean,
Are we excited to make up strats that no one will use?
no, Zach, you'll use it, but like the 2 CP will stop you from doing it on a 9-man squad.
see.
It's just like a.
I think
It's essentially you can't do
in
this.
8th
on-
edition, Custodes were always like the army with the best stratagems, but like no command points.
Yeah.
I almost really think that that's how they should be. Like their deep pocket of stratagems should be crazy. I really think they should lean into being able to like pull out their extreme training and capability,
Yeah.
you know, when they need it.
Thank you, GT, probably. Hey, Titans, great to see you back, Brian. I wish you great success with your business venture.
Thank you.
Is there any way we can support this endeavor?
Unfortunately, not really at this time. The company that I'm working on is a technology company, and it works in finance and does different investment stuff. And it's really still quite an early stage for us. So maybe in the future there'd be something cool we can do, but at the moment we're just heads down working hard on it.
Thank you, Mike H5. 2/3 of the way through my second Redemptor Dread.
Nice.
Congrats, Bridger. I imagine those that logged out early because of the AdMech blowout will feel foolish.
If they ever check back.
Yeah, well, the truth is that's happened in so many games. People count armies out, and you play all the turns of the
They don't
game.
get it.
You've got to play all the turns.
Those are people who've probably never been to an event.
Yeah, it's anything can happen. You play all those turns. Came down to the very last roll. Like,
It was wild.
You didn't want to miss any of this.
Very close.
Thank you, Robert. Really liked the Ultramarines list from last week.
Yeah, it's good.
What would you change if you were going to make it Iron Hands?
Easy. You would take out the 2 infiltrating
Invictors.
Invictors. The Invictors are only interesting because of the redeployability for the Ultramarines. It means that they always can ensure that they're either safe or useful. The Iron Hands have no such ability, and so the Invictors are just not going to be as efficient as maybe other Dreadnoughts might be. For instance, we've sometimes put in some real powerhouse Ironclads.
Yeah.
Also, you could, we only had, 2 Redemptors in this list. You could easily push
up to 3.
push it up to a 3rd Redemptor. You'd also probably just want chunkier Intercessor squads because they're really durable, things like that.
I will say, the reason the list functions at the highest tier, because everybody looks at this list and they're like, that can't play against Sisters and Admech and Drakari.
But it can.
But it can because of Oath of Moment, redeploying the Invictors,
Yeah.
and all of the just Ultramarines buffs. Like, Ultramarines just have a lot of cheap buffs, and it's like, hey, these guys are better. Hey, that Dreadnought's better. Hey, these guys
The
are
Iron
better.
Hands have a version of this list that, if I'm not mistaken, has been punking people at GTs. And it uses the durability
Right.
as the clutch factor, and it uses the durability not just through the base, Iron Hand strats, but also through their psychic. Because their psychic can ratchet up the durability pretty high on squads, and you end up picking up the primary that way. You surprise people with some pretty cheap Space Marines. So you definitely want to look into that. Some people have been doing them as Iron Hand successors with the standard Whirlwind of Rage and stuff like that. But I think, if you're doing the Dreadnoughts, you could really consider pure Iron Hands.
Isn't it funny how when Oath came out, we were all like, this is stupid. But now we're like, oh yeah, this is what Space Marines kind of need.
Oath of Moment?
Yeah.
Well, we thought it was too strong.
Yeah.
Well, at the time, it
The
was
whole codex was, of course. Right?
Yeah, at the time it was very strong because it was a secondary that you almost always got 15 on even when you were failing, and almost nobody else had that. And
But the mechanism's kind of cool now, right? Because they can be getting, kicked to pieces.
No, I don't. I
I
don't
still
love
don't
it.
like it.
I don't love it.
I think it's bad design.
I think what I really don't love, and I think with the Dark Angels players out there know that, it's like you take Dark Angels and you take Oath of Moment and the Dark Angels secondary. Now you have like two guaranteed 15-point secondaries
Shouldn't be able to do
that are non-interactive basically. It's like, that's not reasonable. So I still don't think they've done a perfect job. The Space Marines aren't OP, so it's like having an OP secondary doesn't bother anybody, but it doesn't mean it's good design.
Thanks again, Mike. Bridger, you have been down on Custodes for a while. After tonight in Charity Hammer, how do you feel? Stuff of Legends.
These competitive games don't change how I feel about Custodes as a faction, because this is like not Custodes. This isn't like how I want to play Custodes. I want my golden boys back. I want to be able to play bikes. I want to be able to play
Terminators?
Sword and Shield Guard, literally any Terminator model. I want the characters to matter. And the reality is, this is a book propped up by 2 units.
Forge World.
The Cultist Dreadnought and the
Talamon.
The
Venator. And the Talamon.
Talamon's okay.
No, the Talamon's...
It's weaker than the Gladys in almost every regard.
I think that's debatable. I know that's your opinion, but I think it's debatable.
It's okay. It's fine. It's
excellent.
The Talamon's fine, Sagittarum are fine, Sisters are fine. It's all like reasonably competitive stuff, but the book is propped up by 2
By a couple of these
exceptional
dreadnoughts,
units.
yeah.
The Gladys and the Venatari are 2 units that
And by the meta, frankly.
Yeah.
Right? The kind of thing that's working in the meta is a bunch of people taking units that just can't kill these things.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And your output just seems to be, as you said, it's perfect. You get like Overwatch, shooting, combat,
Yeah.
and their MSU, they end up trading like 6 squads for one dreadnought, and they're just not prepared to do that. So the book needs a lot of help though, because what the mark of a good book is that you throw together almost any old list,
Right.
and it works. And the fact that the AdMech book, that we could play it in such a way where it's like all the Cult Mechanicus stuff is banned, only Skitarii.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I can't use priests or whatever. Oh, that's okay. I'll just take these Rust Stalkers, and they're still the best combat unit in the game. Oh, but if I didn't take, let's say I said almost no Skitarii, only Cult. Oh, I'd still wreck. And Drukhari, I dare you to try to build a bad list. Like, your people are digging into like anything, like the stuff that wasn't popular at the beginning, like Chronos.
Yeah.
They're still
good,
amazing.
yeah.
Everything's amazing. You're playing any chapter, any sub faction.
Yeah.
They're all good. Not
Yeah.
so with Custodes.
I want like foot Custodes to not be outright bad.
Agreed.
That's why I'm so down on the faction, is like they're unplayably bad. If you bring Spear Guard, people will laugh at you.
Yeah.
You bring Terminators, people will laugh.
And there was a time when a big unit of Spear Guard was a menace. It was amazing.
During Space Marine Apocalypse,
Yeah.
I took basically just 30 Custodian Guard,
And it was scary.
and it was like I had a big unit with 6 spears and 4 shields, and it was a monster.
Yeah.
Killed everything.
Yeah. These days, some witches tear it up.
Thank you, CDR McNeil. Hello from Japan. Amazing game beyond my wildest expectations for how a Custodes AdMech matchup would go. Question, Magera or Styrax as part of a pure knight force with that's supporting,
Well, that's easy.
being supported as
No,
AdMech.
it's and as like different,
support
different,
for
two
AdMech.
different
Yeah,
questions.
This is easy. The Styrax.
Really?
I love the Styrax.
So
I think the Styrax has bananas combat and shooting output.
yes, they're both
The
great.
Claw is a sweep attack at 3 damage. Bananas.
Yeah. No, they're both great.
That Hecatank
can't go wrong here.
Siege Claw, unbelievable. And the 5-up invulnerable in combat. Once you put some warlord traits on it, the thing is a menace. The last time I played AdMech, I played them with a Styrax.
Yes.
And it was great.
Styrax is great.
Yeah, the Styrax is no joke.
If you're pure knights, the Megara is the way to go. I don't know why, but I do know that it's like the only way to play pure knights right now. Is like 3 Megara.
Yeah, the Megaras, they're both excellent.
You just like oppressively. I think it just shoots a lot.
Yeah, and it's the reason people are taking these is the invulnerable save in combat.
Yeah.
But yeah, also similarly share your excitement about the Custodes win here. Really great.
Thank you, Fear. Building my Hexfire box. About to start a crusade for the first time with Grey Knights.
Nice.
500 points to start. 1 Chaplain, 1 Blood Ancient, 3 Paladins, 2 Halberd, and 1 hammer. That's the
Yeah,
paladins, right?
5 strike range.
5 strikes. How should I expand my army?
So many. Oh, I love this army, and I think it's a lot of fun in Crusade. It certainly looks great. So you've got a couple characters there. I would love to see a librarian. I think that's a lot of fun. You know, you can't do the name characters in Crusade, so I guess no Castellan Crow, right? He's such a beautiful model. But you could definitely do some Purifiers. They're a lot of fun. But the best unit in the whole book is the Interceptors. And that's the strike squad box. You know, you can magnetize their backpacks, which is what I did, so that you could turn them into strikes or into Inceptors or Interceptors.
You like put the little flares on, and then you take the little flares off?
No, I magnetized the whole backpack.
Oh,
It's a whole separate backpack, and you get
see.
both. And it was actually, the backpack already has like a little circle that pushes together, so it was easy for me to get magnets to
I
fit.
prefer my headcanon where you put the little flares on.
That sounds miserable, but yeah.
You would lose them immediately.
Yeah, you would. So a librarian and interceptors would be good. Purifiers are just more of a fun pick. How could you say no to a Nemesis Dreadnought? No.
Right, if you're going above 1,000 points, you got to have a Nemesis Dreadnought.
You do.
Sure,
I agree. It's a model you
It's
got
tough
to
at 500. They're expensive.
No, but beyond the next expansion, I would do it for sure.
If you're building up, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Crusader Kerbo. Great game, Titans. Sad to see the AdMech lose, but was a great opportunity to see a Skitarii veteran cohort army in action.
Yeah.
Somebody was sad to see AdMech lose?
Kerbo.
Listen, a lot of people are pulling for the AdMech. The thing is, even though, you got to imagine, even though they're the boogeyman right now, you know, some people, this
Have
is their
played
main
it for-
faction,
yeah.
and it's their, I love the AdMech. I've been playing it for
forget.
years. It was one of my first 40K armies, and it was one of his first 40K armies. too.
Yes, he played in 7th. He played.
Yeah, he did.
When AdMech could summon demons.
Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, sad to see them lose as well.
Played in 7th. I don't remember that.
But we'll definitely be playing a lot more. I've actually just commissioned maybe another 4,000 points of AdMech.
Ooh,
Very
a
big
lot.
commission to add to my blue AdMech collection. I got Israel Sanchez doing them. They're going to look stunning. And you're definitely going to be seeing a lot more of them. And I'm going to be taking them to events as well. So if you come to events, you can see some of my new models. I'm excited to show them off.
Thank you, Siege Roots. I need to start using strats more in my games.
That's true.
What are some go-to Ultramarine strats I should be using every turn? Martial Precision is on Redemptors for auto hits.
Is Marshall? No.
No, so I don't remember the names of strats very well, but we know what they do. So the redeploy stratagem is one of the strongest abilities that they have. So that's at the start of the game, you can redeploy a couple units. Very, very useful if you built the right army. Ultramarines have an ability to do supporting Overwatch.
Yep.
If you've positioned well, it can be absolutely devastating, turn the tide of an entire game. The Ultramarines have a stratagem to fall back, shoot, and charge, and you shoot at no penalty. And fall back, shoot, and charge. I've won countless games solely on the back of that stratagem.
It's a great strat.
Alone, absolutely. You have base Space Marine stratagems, like Transhuman.
Scions of Gilliman.
Scions of Gilliman is great.
So it's captain buff for a unit, and if they're troops, it's full rerolls.
It's
to
a
hit.
full reroll, so big unit of intercessors or something like that. And I've seen it, I've done it in the past where I had like 10 intercessors, and I gave them that and then double shot them. It's a lot of CP, but it's a surprising amount of damage, especially in Tactile Doctrine.
Wisdom of the Ancients, generic Space Marine strat that makes a dreadnought either a captain or a lieutenant. For the turn. It's real good. John used it every turn in our game, and you could see it paid off.
Yeah. So anyways, those are the ones that have always come to mind for me, primarily. Yeah.
They have a lot of strats because they have the full Space Marine book and Ultramarines. You should use more strats, man.
Yeah.
They're just good.
Of course. Absolutely.
Thank you, Crypt Shadow. Learning to paint with an airbrush and in general, only painted 15 models or so so far. Knowing where to add shadows and highlights is hard.
Yeah, there's a couple shortcuts to this, right? One of the most common shortcuts is literally directional,
Oh, sure.
right?
Yep.
You just pretend, put it down on your table. You know, let's say you have a lamp above. Where the light would hit from the lamp, that's the highlight, and where it doesn't, that's the low light. And you just pick a consistent direction. So let's say it's coming not straight down, but like kind of from an angle, right? And you just do the shadows, and you can literally paint that way. Like let's just say I base coated in gray, And then I turn the model from this top angle and I shoot some whitish. So now it's creating a highlight. And then I literally do the exact opposite on the other end and I shoot some darker gray, you know, in those kind of areas. I'm crudely creating the correct gradient, right? And you're just using directionality and the spray of the airbrush to kind of make it fall where it should. That's like a cheap way to do it. I often do
I don't think I don't consider that a shortcut. I mean, I think that's how you do it.
It is one, but what is also common is a lot of people I think who, let's say you're painting a Space Marine, they don't do realistic, consistent lighting direction.
Yeah.
So they'll do what's common is like a head, shoulders, knees, and toes, right? Where they'll highlight the head, the shoulders, the knees, and the feet, the parts that stick out. But it's not always perfectly consistent. It's like they're creating focal points. And those focal points are highlight points, but it's not perfectly directional lighting. It's almost like spotlighting.
I do both of these.
I do both of
What
these
you're
too.
Describing, okay.
But the second one is not logical lighting direction.
It's more cartoony, but
It's more
like it looks
cartoony.
better.
Right.
I see.
It is cartoony. And but with a Space Marine, that head, shoulders, knees, toes, that looks good. It makes the model pop. And it's not more realistic though. It's not, you know.
I'm trying to think what we've done on the stream where we really demoed that. And honestly, I think the best example might be the ogres, the Beast Claw Raiders. But the Contemptors as well, maybe, on that stream.
Well, and they're talking about Ultramarines here, Crypt Shadow is,
Yeah,
right? So you go see the Ultramarine Dreadnought stream, which was last Friday, right?
Yeah.
I was
And-
there for that.
Yeah, two Friday.
And you could see in that stream, the Ultramarine color scheme I had,
Whenever we do that.
the Ultramarine's color scheme I had starts with black, goes to a very dark blue, a slightly lighter blue, a slightly lighter blue, and then a highlight blue. So you'll see us build up.
Yeah,
You know, you
yeah,
do
yeah.
the build up from the shadow color to the highlight.
Yeah, and in chat they're saying, like, in general, what the topic that Brian's talking about, Crypt Shadow, that you want to research is Zenithal highlighting. And it, like, just basic Zenithal highlighting goes a really long way, like, very long way.
Yeah, accuracy is interesting in a diorama, but these models are small and they're being viewed from 2-3 foot distance, typically on the table. So when you're creating these highlight focal points, especially kind of on the top-ish of the model, it's going to make the army pop on the table. And I always put a lot of effort in making details pop. Like if you've got a model with fine little details, and let's say you're painting them all realistic colors, like you've got a Death Guard and he's got like little guts sticking out, and you're painting them, fine little colors. It's gonna look nice when you hold it up here,
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily the best on the table, which is why I'll often exaggerate the lighting and the highlights and the things like that. And I've always prioritized my models for looking good on the table, not necessarily like the pick it, look it real close. So I'll optimize that way.
Yeah, I always can say, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I make terrain to be around like a 5 to a 7.
Like level of detail.
Yeah, no, level of brightness.
Yeah, right.
And then on my models, for me, I usually am like 8, 9, 10.
Very vibrant.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I make very vibrant armies as well. I think they just look better.
So we did it on questions, but there was a little bit of interesting information from Base Dorothy here, saying that Kirkanis reports only 8 people have unbroken brackets.
I'm only 3 games in.
Oh.
But this one,
This one broke a lot of
destroyed
brackets.
a
Yeah,
lot.
this was
Yeah,
well, who could have guessed? I honestly would not have bet. I mean, I would have bet for myself.
Yeah.
Just because I was playing it.
Yeah, right.
But I would not bet for the Custodes to win this matchup.
But that's competitive games of Warhammer. They can go this way, right? When you're bringing any army, but we're bringing armies that have a chance, right?
and a person who's played this a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. Well, experience mattered a lot in this game, right? You had experience with your faction. I didn't have experience with my faction, and I definitely did not eke out the efficiency.
Right.
My army is famous for efficiency.
Yeah.
And I didn't eke out the max efficiency that I could have got there. But frankly, it's worth noting that when you have a faction with so many layers,
Right.
even a well-experienced player often can't eke out that efficiency because you're under stress. You're making decisions. You got a clock. I didn't have a clock here. If I was on a clock, it would have even been harder.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas the Custodes, the layers are not there. You have to make very careful trading decisions. But as you point out, you could focus more on fewer decisions.
Right.
The AdMech forced you to make a lot more decisions, which is more opportunities to make mistakes or not make the optimal decision.
Yeah.
Right.
I continue to play this list in a way that just baffles most players. They're
Yeah.
like, you shouldn't stop doing that. That's clearly wrong, and then it works every time.
I would love to see them go all the way.
I would love. I don't think it can happen, but I'd love.
It can. Your next matchup against Drukhari has a real shot.
I need you to beat orcs.
I think you'd have an interesting game against orcs.
Yeah.
I think it would be.
I knocked out.
I think that would be a fair fight.
Ultramarines were one of my worst matchups because they just mortared me down.
I agree.
And
I was an even worse matchup
Sisters were a pretty bad matchup for me.
Sisters would be an awful matchup for you.
But they're gone.
Yeah.
I'm
spoiling
very
the whole
excited
thing.
to watch you and John play.
Oh, we're gonna duke it out.
Because in general, those games are, as we've discussed in the past, a little wacky when it's the three of us.
My new bracket is you beat Drukhari,
Okay.
orcs beat Thousand Sons,
Okay.
and then it's
orcs and Death Guard.
and I think orcs win that.
Oh, but if Death Guard win, I have to play myself.
Oh, I would be into that.
I would love to watch you play.
Both
I would
sides of
love
the
that
table.
too.
I think we set a new record.
So I think the orcs beat the Thousand Sons, or sorry, the Thousand Sons and the Death Guard. I think,
and then it's orcs,
I think it's
Custodes in the
orcs and
final?
Custodes in the final, which then I actually give to the Custodes.
Oh, that's
So as of right
Another
now,
stressful game,
they're
man.
actually my favorite.
that's another stressful game.
Oh, we got another question here. Thank you, Thomas B. How do you all go about picking out an edge highlight color for something that has an airbrush gradient to it? For example, a rhino that goes from a dark teal to a light teal. And I can say that we do have a video on this, and actually just went up on
you?
Hobby Titans
Oh, no
when
way.
I painted my Simon Hornet because it has airbrush gradient. And typically for edge highlight, I use if I'm your Ultramarines do this as well. They're blue. You use it's Lutheran blue or something.
Lothran, the high elf
And
blue.
you must find the lightest version of the color you're doing, Thomas. Or frankly, if you've already gone as far as you can, white. And I there's warm whites and cool whites and different neutral whites. But the other thing to remember is that even if you have a white army, you've been airbrushing over gradients. Taking white from a paintbrush is still going to
Still be brighter.
brighter than the airbrush, unless you've been really laying a lot of layers of white
So
on.
let me give you a slightly different take on it. And this is a little more of a complicated color theory question for you. But many of these colors, these paints that you get, they're kind of in the center of the color spectrum for that color. So if you get a blue, it's clearly a blue. Every so often, you'll find some beautiful colors that are in the mix between a blue and a green. That's we see things like
This is what Citadel does, right? Yeah.
Adrian's favorite color is a blue green, right? And your Tau is a blue green.
Yeah.
Now, one of the interesting
They're like a green blue. If we're gonna make that distinction.
No, my tower blue green. Vallejo blue green is really a green blue.
Yeah, right. But what I'm trying to say is often you have the opportunity to go to the next color on either side of the color spectrum as your highlight. So you could say, I'm orange, what's next over is yellow, right? And so you could go, but you wouldn't want to go backwards to red as your edge highlight, unless you're trying to make a very particular statement. But you have the opportunity to do that. If you're a blue, or let's say you're green, you can even edge highlight in a blue. And so you have these opportunities to move over in the color spectrum, and you could do some very, very interesting things. Typically, you would only want to go one color over in the color spectrum, not multiple, unless you're doing something that's not a real material, because real materials don't often shine in colors that are not theirs. There are exceptions to that, which are things like, weird petroleum-based products. But anyways, that's a really interesting thing you could do.
That's going to look cool. It's stylistic, though. It's a stylistic call.
It's not crazy. If you had an orange, edge highlighting in a yellow would be really normal. And again, edge highlighting in a blue from a green or a green from a blue is not crazy either. And sometimes, especially when you're doing models that are black, edge highlighting in a gray is a horrible idea. You want to edge highlight in a light blue, right? And I would almost never use gray to edge highlight when I could use something with more saturation. So definitely want to think about that.
We do this a lot in the Hobby Tines and the Simon Hornet video where I it's a bit to get through because it's a long stream, but you can skip around and you'll see it.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Did we do it?
Yeah, we did it.
Woo! What an exciting game! What an exciting game is my first game back.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, I'm back again on Saturday with the Thousand Sons and hoping to really, do some magic and show those boys who's boss.
With a smackdown on s'mores.
Yeah, it should be exciting. And of course, I'll be around for another week in addition.
Yeah.
So whether I lose or
chilling.
win, I'll be here in the background helping out, doing some
The
fun
original
stuff.
crew on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's the original crew.
Reunited.
Yeah, so you're definitely not going to miss that. And you're not going to want to miss any of the rest of the tournament because I'm sure they're all going to be games like this where it's crazy nail biters.
It's been some nail
Every game
biters.
so far.
Every game so far, yeah. Because we picked good armies.
So Thursday, Brian, when you beat Adrian, make
Okay.
it close. All right?
I'll make it close.
Make it close.
Saturday?
All right.
You mean
On Saturday.
Saturday.
That's right.
When you beat Adrian, make it close.
All right, well, we'll see you there. And hope you tell all your friends and don't miss it because I'm sure it's going to be exciting.
It's going to be awesome.
All right, catch you next time.
Bye.